Hello. Today we will be discussing how to add an enemy to our maze projects. Now last class you set up your maze so that your character starts at the beginning with this script right here. The character moves in all four directions by these four scripts that go here. If your character touches the yellow, so in this case my main character will try to travel through the red paths, but if they touch the yellow path, it will send them back to the beginning with this script right here. And the last script is if my character reaches the finish line, which is the color blue, it will say you win and it will stop all of the scripts. What we're going to take a look at today is adding an enemy to your project that affects your gameplay. So what you will need to do is you will either need to paint an enemy or import an enemy, either from the Scratch imports or one that you've found on Google Images. Okay, so an example here would be in one of my characters here, I'm going to choose a fantasy character, and I'm going to take a look at, I'll use the dragon in this case as my enemy. Okay, now when I insert the dragon, it's obviously going to be a little too large for my map and for what I have on my maze. So I will need to go into costumes under the dragon, and I will need to edit and shrink the character up a little bit with the shrink tool. Now you can also use the shrink button up here, but that's up to you. That one shrinks it a little bit less each time you click on that one. Okay? So after I set up my character, I need to give him a script. So the first things first, I want to put my character where I want him on the screen. So I'm going to have my dragon start down in this corner. Okay, if you want to point him in a direction, or if you only want him going left to right, you click on one of these. Okay, so I only want my character going left or right. Okay, and now I can aim him at my character. Now, the scripts that I'm going to put in, I'm going to start with a green flag. Now this is, once again, this is known as parallelism because we have the green flag over here that's giving a list of instructions to Sprite 1, but now we are going to have the green flag over here that's giving a list of instructions for Sprite 2. Okay? After I do that, I am going to put in a go to. Now I want him to go to this spot when he starts. So my X and Y coordinates are 174, negative 124, and that's up to you. If you want to put him in a different spot, say I wanted to put him up here, I would have to change the coordinates to 183, 103. Now, instead of typing them in here too, an easy tip is to just go to Control and go to Motion, and notice it will update your go-to. Okay? So when the green flag is clicked, now my character goes to where he wants to start. Okay, and then what you want to do is go back into Control and find the forever loop. Now you're going to put that underneath. Make sure you do not put this inside the forever loop. You want it to go underneath. Now what you want to do is forever, you want to point your enemy towards the character, and this will be a chasing enemy. Okay, so this enemy will always go after my character, and this enemy can also go through the walls. So I can say forever point towards Sprite 1, okay? And then I would want him to move a certain number of steps. Now if I said 10 steps, the character's going to be super fast. So let's take a look. If I click on the green flag, character's way too fast, okay? And he goes and attacks my main character way too quick. So maybe I would like to try 1 step or less than 1 step, in which case you put a decimal in. So let's try 1 step first. Okay, so now he's going after my character, and notice as I go down, the enemy follows my character. Okay? Now, there is nothing that's affecting my gameplay in this situation because the enemy can just sit on top of my character and my character is not affected at all. Okay, so my character can continue to move. Now we want to add something in, so I'm going to stop my script here. We want to add something in that's going to make it so when this character touches that character, it sends my main character back to the beginning. So what you'd want to do is you would click on Sprite 1, okay, and we have a lot of scripts in here, so I can organize these a little bit, maybe stack these ones on top of each other. Oh. Something like that. And remember, you have as much space as you need in Scratch. You can continue down on your screen as far as you need to go. or you can continue over as far as you need to go in your scripts. You can also look at the script view, switch to a small stage, and you get a little more room to work with there. Okay? So now what I need to do is have this character affected by this character. So what I want to do is I want to put in another green flag. And this time I'm going to say forever if, just like I did for my touching the yellow. But in this case, let me move these down a little bit so you can still see them. In this case, I want to use forever if touching, and I'm going to say touching sprite 2. That way, whenever it touches the enemy, I want to give it some kind of code of something that can happen. Now, you can do a number of things here, and it's completely up to you. What I would suggest is put in a go to and put him back to the beginning. Now, if you notice there, I just duplicated that by right-clicking, clicking on that. So when I put that in, the go to, and here it is again, that will send me back to the beginning. So now let's take a look. If I click my green flag, my stage resets. Now my character's moving along. And when my enemy touches him, it sends him back to the beginning. Okay? So that is setting up an enemy that attacks your character. Now that affects the gameplay. Now, if you also want to include your enemy to go back to the beginning when they touch, it's going to be a little more difficult because a lot of times in Scratch, if you put this same script under this character, it will be a little glitchy and only one will go back to the start. Okay, so what I want to do is I also want to put in what we call a broadcast. Now what the broadcast does is it tells your program to do something else. So something will be waiting for you to broadcast this. So I click on broadcast, I click on new, and I can say reset enemy. And when I type that in, now I have a reset enemy there. Now on my enemy script, what I want to do is I go to control, and now you see this button will pop up. When I receive reset enemy, then I can put in that same go to. So I want to reset my character back to where it starts. Okay, let's see. I might not be able to get right on there, but it's close enough. So let's reset my character, and I could say go to, and I can just type these in, 174, negative 122, or 24 rather. So now, when I click my green flag, my character will move, and I can try to get to the finish line. Oh. And when they touch, they both go back to the beginning. Okay, so now my enemy affects my gameplay. Now once again, if your enemy is moving too fast, in this case I think my game would be pretty difficult to beat. You might want to move your enemy down only a half a step at a time. That way your character is not flying around the screen, and it gives you a little bit more time to get through your maze. Okay, so that might be a little more easily manageable. Okay, so that is how you set up an enemy in Scratch. Thank you for watching.